the band had no intention of retiring and thought that it was a pretty, you know, dopey sort of press story to go for anyway, but, you know, Terry was adamant and we let him put it in. Melody Maker and Ray Coleman, the editor, were daft enough to go along with it, and they printed it up as a front page story. It was wet, it was pathetic. Stupid thing to have done, didn't do us any good at all. And as I say, the band carried on, you know, unaffected by any of that, because we'd already, you know, booked a tour in the Far East, which we then went and did, although it was construed as that we'd disappeared from touring for a year. In fact, we hadn't at all. We were either out in America or out doing an extensive Far Eastern tour. We hadn't quit and we hadn't disappeared at all. We were just working elsewhere in the world, doing new territories we hadn't done before. So, I mean, all of that is sort of blown up out of proportion. And I have to remind you that in spite of bad press and people saying that it was a bad album or whatever, that that it was #1 in the American charts for a short while, and whatever its initial shipment was, and I know that it didn't sell. There were a lot of returns out of the initial shipment because of, you know, this whole vibe about it. But it has subsequently sold well in excess of 1 million records after its bad press and over the years as a catalogue item. In other words, people having had the benefit of the test of time to aid them in deciding whether or not to purchase that copy of Passion Play have, you know, finally decided to go and buy it. And if it's a bad album, well, it's a bad album that certainly had every opportunity to prove itself bad, and, you know, I think turned out to be reasonably good, since it sold, you know, I can't remember what the exact figures are, but well in excess of 1 million units well after its bad press. So, you know, I think there the case must ultimately rest. But I don't think it's a good album. I think it's okay. But I don't think it's a bad album. It has its merits and it has its shortcomings.